Yeah, we can't hear it on this end. Just,
Oh,
it's fine.
I'm sorry, guys.
It's cool. It's cool. Technical difficulties. We're doing it a little bit different. So, probably if you would share the sound, you gotta share the screen and the sound for it to work. Well, it's a little bit different. Y'all in my virtual classroom. Okay. Hey, surprise, y'all, surprise. Surprise. Hey, y'all. It's gonna be a little different this evening. Okay, just be with us.
What you really want, you really feel it when you're inside.
Slow motion.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, welcome to the vibe. We are doing things a lot differently today. Um, Clearly we're both from our home broadcasting, and we are live on YouTube and on Facebook. Um, so we didn't get to do a Father's Day show, and I didn't want nobody attacking me saying y'all did something for Mother's Day and ain't do nothing for Father's Day. Um, so we here, it's Pink, and of course, one of the greatest co-hosts on the planet.
I feel the swagger.
And we definitely took the time out to be with our fathers and spend time with our family over the weekend. So we appreciate all the support, and I seen a couple of people hit me over the weekend, and I got to talk to a couple of people. I got to talk to a couple of people and wish them a happy Father's Day. Um, did you enjoy your Father's Day, Phyllis?
I did. I did. Went to my uncle's house and we had fish fry and that's it. We just chilled out. I see them in a couple weeks because we going on vacation. So yeah.
Oh yeah, you is going on vacation and like leaving me solo dolo by myself. I
Sorry
mean,
guys.
it's okay. I had somebody ask me to they wanted to be like a random pop up guest. I was like, I don't really know how I feel about that because it's not gonna be the same vibe. But we'll see. So I know when I had the parents just don't understand, when we had the parents just don't understand episode, a big thing we talked about is the importance of fathers and having them in our lives. And um, I guess my story is probably a little bit different from yours because you grew up with your parents being together.
Today is
I
our
know.
anniversary actually. So 42 years of marriage today.
Woo, 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 happy anniversary.
I just hope I can find somebody to like for 42 days. You know what I'm
Hello.
saying?
Cause oh my god, if y'all heard the last show when we had Mr. Cool on there and I was talking about the last person that I was I can't even fully say dating, I was still getting to know them, and then they showed me that what's that damn show? Fatal Attraction. Fatal Attraction is real.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely showed me that shit was real. A little bit too real for me, so I had to no, take I can't even say take a break. I had to block them. Um, but so yeah, I tease my parents because I feel like they're complete opposite. I don't know how they ended up making me. Don't make sense to me, but I've always known who my dad was. I just really only I never like lived in the same household as him. I seen him like if not every weekend, like every other weekend. Um, so I think growing up was it was different. Like I could call and talk to him whenever I wanted to, but everything was cool until I got little brother and sister. like um, it was one of those things that I think he did it unknowingly because once that family started, like he was already married when I was like 2. I was like the flower girl, the only kid to them for like first 8.5, 9, like 9 years. So like I didn't think it was gonna be that big of a deal, but it ended up being something major because my dad didn't know how to divide that time and be inclusive with me and his new family. But it was at like a critical time. And that was one of the things that I wanted to talk about for the Father's Day episode is that um, it's the difference between, financially being there. And even if you see your child all the time, if you don't spend like quality time and really get to know them and who they are in each phase that they're going through, because middle school is a whole different phase from a high school phase, and you deal with different things and different people. And I didn't really have my dad during those critical times to know how to deal with certain situations and just communicating with certain men. Like, I was cool with a bunch of people. Everybody was my homie. But when it came to like the relationship side, like my mother would tell y'all, like I was the asshole. I was mean to people. Um, I don't even know why people like me in high school. 'Cause I thought I tried to be the most unlikable person.
That's always the case. People that always be trying to be unlikable, always trying to look mean. People always gravitate towards you.
Yeah, I still ain't understood it. Um, like like we talked about, it was hard for females was mad at me for shit that I didn't even know about. Like, but I think it took me a long time to realize what it was in my life that was missing. And like me and my dad had this talk probably like 2 years ago when I was dealing with the other crazy person. Um, that I really suffer from like abandonment issues. And it's not that he ever physically left my life, but I felt like he was not there and supporting me in any aspect for years. So it affected me in relationships.
But you do have a lot of people who are present but not present. Like they're there, but they're just not there like emotionally and in ways like that. Like you see, like even as a teacher and just seeing like the kids that I work with, like some of them, their mothers, they with their mothers all the time, but their mothers aren't present. They're not spending that quality time with them. They're not really getting to know their child. So it's like they're there, but they're not there. I know it was a newscaster on the Today Show. He said that's what it was with his dad. He was like his dad was there, he was present, but he wasn't present because his dad worked all the time. You know, he made sure that they had food, they had a roof over their head, and he became alcoholic because and in a shift that he worked, he missed a lot of things because he worked like a middle shift or something like that. So again, like their dad was present, but the dad wasn't present. And I mean, now that they're older, their relationship is different. But you do see that where parents can be present in the home and still know absolutely nothing about their child because they're not spending that quality time. And then I feel like that also goes into, we talk about love languages, that also goes into that as well. Because when you think about it, if your parent is someone who always bought you gifts and things like that, then that is something that maybe you feel like as you get older, and we don't realize this because it's subconsciously, that you feel like that's how someone shows you that they love you because they buy you things. And so that's your love. So that's your love language. Or after service could be one where like you feel like you always have to do stuff for people because you feel like that's how they'll love you. And so like for me, I always did stuff for my dad. So that's why in relationships, quality time is big for me. Like, I don't care about your money, I don't care about gifts and all that. I like spending quality time. So, though, that's big for me. And then you have, and I've seen where you've seen females like their dad always bought them stuff. So that's what they expect. So that's their love language. Like, they love to get gifts. And it's not necessarily them always spending time with you. Oh, you bought me some shoes today. Oh, thank you. Like, and that's it. But all of those things,
That's nice, but I need you right here.
right? All of those things shape and mold our relationships, and this is, and especially for females, because our dads are the first the first man that we ever received some type of love from. So a lot of the times when they say that most of the time women end up marrying, um, someone asked, can we go live together? Um,
We can, but y'all gonna hear the echo.
yeah, it's gonna be an echo if we go live together. But can you hear her on the speaker when she talks? Cause we doing like 50 million different things, y'all. Y'all gotta bear, y'all
We
gotta bear
live
with
in like a
us.
lot of different places. You know what? I can, but then that means we're gonna have to turn the volume down on our phones.
Okay, cause I'm live on my iPad, so
Um,
it's real low. Okay,
I'm sorry, guys.
bear with us, y'all. Okay, we getting it together. Okay, and then
Oh, and it's on delay. It's on delay reaction.
I accepted it. Okay, there you go.
Your echo is bad.
I just turned my speaker all the way down on Zoom, so is that better, Marcus?
Is it better now? I think I muted myself on. I don't, because you can't hear me on there, can you? You
Okay,
said
so he said it's good now. Okay, I turned up my speaker slightly on my computer, so yeah. So I can hear you on the computer.
okay. Cool.
This,
Everybody good
y'all.
now? We can hear. When I say we live in a lot of places, we live in a lot of places at one time.
Yes. um. All right. Okay, so love like so basically we're talking about fatherhood and things like that. So the relationship that a female has with her father is very pivotal, and then you hear the saying a lot of times women tend to look for men like their dad, but it also depends. It also depends on the type of relationship you have with your father, and then sometimes there are qualities that you may see that you just like yeah, I don't think I want that. Like,
Yeah, like, and I've even seen it where some people, unknowingly, like if their father was a certain type of way with their mom, they unknowingly date that kind of person or those kind of traits in that person. And I'm not gonna say who it applies to, but I know the things that they saw and dealt with growing up is exactly the reason why they date the people that they date.
Mhm.
Um, and
That
even when
goes
trying
both
to
ways. That
explain
goes
it,
both ways.
it does. And even when
Mhm.
trying to explain it to them, they it's like they can't make the correlation. So sometimes you just gotta let people go through trial and error and figure it out on their own.
Mhm.
And it when they get to a certain point and grow to a certain level, they'll be able to reflect over. I know that was something that I had to do on my own. It didn't even necessarily apply to my dad. I think it was because of how I saw my mom and dad co-parenting relationship or
Mhm.
certain things play out. Like I'm just a very guarded person. I didn't really open up and talk to nobody about nothing. Um, like yeah, we cool, we have fun when we kick it and everything, but you want to know me, no, you gonna have to climb over this wall to get to know me. But
Right.
yeah,
Yes, people definitely do mimic what they see. Shout out to Polo T that's watching us right now. Shout out to my bro. But yes, people definitely do mimic what they see. And I think a lot of times we don't really realize that until we're older. So now that we're older, we realize that we do kind of mimic the stuff that we grew up seeing. And it doesn't always have to be your parents, it could be your grandma, your grandfather, just anything like that. And then you start to realize like, oh, okay, oh yeah, well I do, do this like whatever, whatever, or I do this like this person. But definitely that father role is just pivotal in both males and females, because even for men, I mean, again, that kind of molds the relationships that men can have with other men, even mold them as fathers as well. And some people can be opposite. If they dad wasn't around, they want to be the best dad they can be. And then you have some that's like, well, I ain't no father, so why should I, you know what I'm saying? I ain't nobody want me and stuff like that. And I definitely, again, I'm telling y'all, being at education, you see all of this. Like you see how the parental relationships affect these children. Like I have had a lot of male students that don't respect men because of whatever happened with their father not being there, or whatever the case may be. Like a man correcting them would set them off, as opposed to a female, correcting them and saying like, oh, hey, this, and this, or whatever the case may be. Um, oh, I just froze. What's happening here? But that you definitely see that. And I see it with little kids. And I'm not talking about, grown, and I'm not talking about like teenage kids. Like I've worked with elementary age kids, and I've seen it as young as kindergarten. Like, nah, they don't respect men because of whatever male interaction that they had. They rather listen to a woman as opposed to a female. So, I mean, as opposed to a male. So, being a father and having that father relationship is really, really pivotal, like all over.
yeah. And like I was saying, when you grow through when you go through those different phases, like your father plays a different role in each one of those phases because as you're on that journey of still getting to know who you are and who you want to be, um, I mean, you want your mom's support too, but at the same time, it's like getting that reflection from, again, like you said, that first male interaction. And that's the first person you really like look up to as a male role model. Well, most people look up to as, a male role model or the basis of, you know, um, Like me personally, nobody has ever heard me say I want to date somebody like my dad. And it ain't no shade to my dad, love him to death, but it's some things that he do that I just be looking at him like, nah, bro,
Oh,
nah.
I agree 100%. It's just some things have to be like, you know what? That's not gonna work for me. Like I couldn't do it like that. I just ain't feeling it. Like that's just something that my partner, he's no, we ain't doing that. Like it's just things that I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Like even now, I be teasing my dad because like after being, he was married for like 25, 26 years, so he been single now, and he be saying he not dating. Y'all,
He
he is
definitely said that
dating.
on the show. He said that he is not dating anyone. He said
Guys,
that more than
he
once.
disappeared. He be dating. I done popped up at his house, and he then greeted me at the door and basically just pushed me on down the steps out the door. Like, oh no, we're not supposed to be here. I'm like, bruh, what is you doing? Why is it a secret?
He said he don't want y'all in his business.
Clearly, but he's trying to get everybody else and trying to know the tea, the flavor, and who it is. But it's been so funny to watch him in this phase of his life because now he's more open to like asking certain questions as opposed to like he used to just be this real strict father. I swear I was in church like all the time. If I'm with him on the weekends, we at church Friday night, Saturday during the day, Saturday night, Saturday and Sunday morning. And I'm like, so I'm getting to see a totally different side of him that I appreciate more because I feel like it's more down to earth and more realistic than what he was trying to give me then. Like back then, I felt like I had a father who was going to judge me for whatever I decided to do. And not saying that it all had to do with church, but I think he was more into having me in a certain image. And
Instead of just
I can't say it was his marriage that did it. I don't really 100% sure. I just know something, somebody, somewhere had some kind of hold over him where he felt like he had to portray this image. And yeah, I kept my distance for a while. I'm like, well, I ain't part of that image, buddy. Like, you must learn when they say the pastor's kids is bad. Yeah, they was gonna be talking about me.
yeah, I ain't about that PK life. But I mean, I definitely understand where you're coming from. But my dad is basically like, what you see is what you get, and I think that's where I got that from. Like, literally, what you see is what you get. Like, I'm not gonna fake the funk for nobody. Like, if I don't like it, my face gonna say it before then, or you know what I'm saying. I'm gonna speak up, whatever. So I think I got a lot of that from him. I'm definitely a daddy's girl. So like this, like definitely. Um, because when I was a kid, I wanted to go everywhere my daddy went. So definitely, definitely was that. And so again, that's why I say for me, quality time is really, really important. So uh when guys be trying to talk to me, trying to date, and I ain't talking about no chilling. I ain't talking about no Netflix and chilling and I'm talking about like spending quality time, like doing something, hanging out, going out to eat or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Then when it gets to the point where I can sit with you in silence, okay, then that's something different. Okay. That's quality time for me. Like that's
Right.
if you sitting on over there in the chair and I'm somewhere else and we are sitting there, we not talking and you did, that's quality time for me. And that's, the type of things that I like. And I think a lot of it is just because with my dad, like I've always spent time with my dad. Even now he said I don't spend time with him, but he's not doing football season. I be watching TV with him. He the reason why I like football. So
Mhm.
and all other sports.
Well, we just had one of our guests pop in. SB, you want to introduce yourself? Don't forget to unmute yourself, sir.
Yeah, my name Chae. Pretty much it.
Well, thank you for joining us. I invited you because one, I know you've been a father for a while now. You're getting kind of up there or whatever. I ain't gonna throw you under the bus like that. But I just want you to talk a little bit about, from your perspective, fatherhood and maybe some of the challenges that you dealt with in regards to fatherhood.
Yeah, I've been a father for quite a while, 14 years now. As far as me, as a father, I think my biggest challenge was honestly getting used to being a father from the jump. It's not something that you can just simply just jump into and go full speed at because it's challenges everywhere. But for me, I think it was just time, especially with me being in the military and then turn around and being in the entertainment industry. It was very time consuming. So it took a lot of time with my kids. So at some point in time, I had to step back and really think, was it worth the money that I was making, or did I have to really take that time to spend with my kids? Um, for me growing up, my dad, he worked 3, 4 jobs. So I seen him either at football practice or on Sundays for dinner. Other than that, I was in the house by myself. But I think the hardest one for me is right now is the time. It's just the last 3 years, I really been spending more time with my kids than anything. Watching them grow, watching them play sports, education, learning what they like, different things like that.
How many kids do you have?
Yeah, I was about to say how many? You say kids.
I got 5. I got two 14-year-olds. I got one that's 11. I got one that's about to be 9, and I got one that's getting ready to be 5.
How
Where
old are
all
you?
this
Like,
from?
no
I'm
shade.
34.
Who Chae?
I'm
Bring them
34.
young.
And, I had a plan. So like for me, my goal was I'm trying to be 50, and I don't want to be raising babies. I didn't want babies when I turned 50. I want to be able to get up and go, travel, see the rest of the world, and things that I haven't seen early on.
Yeah. So how many girls, how many boys do you have?
I have 3 girls and 2 boys.
So we were talking about how it's important for how extremely important it is for a father to be not just in their boys' life, but in their daughter's life. So can you tell us a little bit like what do you pour into your daughters in regards to something they can use as either like a morning affirmation or something that they can just carry on for the rest of their life?
As far as my daughters, with them, I always remind them the key thing is you're beautiful, you're smart, you're educated, and you don't need nobody to remind you of that every day. That's that's something that it was given to you at birth. Nobody can take that from you. Nobody can change anything from any of that from you. Remember to maintain your joy. Don't just be happy. Have joy. Somebody can steal your happiness any day, but your joy is permanent. You know, don't rely on somebody else um, to do things for you. So, like with them, every morning they get up, the purpose of me telling you, take time, stand in the mirror, look at yourself, get used to looking at yourself, because the person that you are now is not going to be the same person that you become as you grow older. Not just looks, but your intelligence. It's just like you can't follow behind what society portrays a black woman to be because it changes so much. Whether it's hair, makeup, lashes, you have to understand that your inner beauty is the key. You don't have to form yourself according to society.
I do think that's super important, considering how it's so many people paying for like plastic surgery, changing their face, body, and just all kinds of stuff when they
Hmm.
don't have to. It's like you really need to love yourself. So can I ask you what do you say to your boys, to your sons?
My boys, seeing as though my oldest son lives with me, my younger son is literally here 98% of the time. Our routine is respect. That's our number one routine, respect, discipline and education. So with my oldest son, a lot of people who follow me on Instagram and social media see where he stands as far as football, but they don't get to see the outside of him, like his grades, his work ethic that he puts in behind the off the field and things like that. It's amazing, but it comes down to your respect. So my number one rule in my house is for every action there's a reaction. That's with life, period. So you do good, you do positive things in life, you get rewarded. But you go out here, you step in these streets, and it changes. You know, these streets don't have no name to them. I gotta remind them, you know, the life that I give you, the view that you see every morning when you wake up, and you can look over the skyline of DC. A lot of people don't get that. A lot of people don't get to live the life that you live, and I put you in this position so that you know what it takes to get there. So if you see me working hard trying to get it, you know that you got to work hard to get it. So for my boys, it's always respect, discipline. You got to be respectful to people. You got to respect the life that you're living. And you got to be disciplined enough to say no to people, to distance yourself. Because nowadays, my son is 14. It's kids out here who's dying at 14
Mm-hmm.
in these streets who are pulling the trigger at 14. I don't want him to be that guy. I don't want him to be on either side of that guy. You know, so I always remind them respect, discipline, and stay educated.
So I know a lot of parents had to have this conversation, probably like conversations we didn't have to have growing up as far as like dealing with the police and the police killings. How was that conversation in your household and amongst your kids?
So last year, my son, he got to see firsthand what it's like to be in the environment of protesting and the marches. Like we left football practice last year and took place in the march that took place. I'm sorry, took part in the march that took place down from the National Harbor over the bridge, over the Woodrow Wilson Bridge. And as we're walking, he's talking. He shows me that he understands. But I keep reminding him that certain things, when you get in certain situations, you just don't have to fight back for. You know, of course, you know, being a man, you don't want nobody to take your manhood from you in any situation. But sometimes you got to set your pride aside. You know, you're fearing a cop just like he's fearing you because he doesn't know what you got going on inside that car. And I gotta tell him, no matter what kind of badge somebody has, it doesn't give them the right to harass you beyond measure. So conversations as far as things like that, it's hard because as us growing up, we didn't have the internet at our hands like we do. Social media wasn't as widespread like it was like it is now. So it's like I told my dad the other day, teaching my sons what to do. It's like I really got to go back, search the internet for events that happened back then that we missed that wasn't broadcast to us because it didn't happen in our area or it wasn't broadcast on the internet, which wasn't, like I said, it wasn't big back then. So it's like I got to break down situations to him for him to understand things. Like now, it's like, well, Dad, what do I do if this happens? All right, keep your hands in plain sight, man. When you walking down the street, don't be fiddling with your pockets and things like that. Keep your hands in plain sight. Like we live in Virginia. So it's like, bro, we in the white community, you gotta be on your P's and Q's. Keep your hands in plain sight if you know at all times. Don't talk back to people. You know that's why it goes back to that respect and discipline. So you gotta understand your surroundings.
Um, so I know also we was raised in, well, probably our grandparents to us, not necessarily our parents. So do what I say and like don't follow what I do and not really having a voice. Have you created like a different atmosphere and a safe space where your kids just be able to talk to you about anything?
Oh yeah, yeah. So my door is open for everything for my when it comes down to them. So for me, everything that I do, they see. Work related, school related, everyday life, they see. So it's like it makes me stay positive in my life as well. It makes me do the right thing as well because I'm not gonna hide it from them. Like I tell them everything that I move, the way that I move now is me setting an example for y'all. So then when they start seeing me do things, it's easier for them to talk to me. So like again, my son is 14. So like he's at that age where puberty's kicking in, starting to wonder things. So it's like I say stuff to him just so he understands what's going on with with females, with everything. So everything that goes on, I'd rather for him to learn it here than be out there. It's no do as I say, not as I do, because I do what I say. So if I say this is how things going to do, I'm going to do it as well, so that you see it works that way. That's how it works.
Well, we definitely appreciate your input. I do want to give you a chance to talk about your business as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. Clothing line, sofamouscollections.com. You can tap in on Instagram, So Famous Collection. Tap the link in the bio. Order away. I do got some exclusive stuff that will be dropping in July that will only be purchased through my Facebook or my personal Instagram page. They will not be up on the website. So if anybody is looking for my exclusive stuff, follow me at Chae So Famous on Instagram and Chae Boss Vuitton on Facebook.
But thank you for joining us. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me.
All
I'm
right.
back again.
No, we're not welcome back no more. Second. So it was nice to have him here because I wanted to oh, what did I do? I be hitting the wrong button for real. Um I just wanted to give a different outlook.
Yeah, that's a different perspective, especially having all those kids at 34. Shout out to him because whew, now I understand that people keep saying that, because I've heard this before where they was like they rather have their kids young so they can live their life as they got older. But then I've also heard a lot of older women who have had kids in their late 30s, uh, 40s plus, that have said that they are actually glad that they had kids later in life as opposed to early in life because they got to enjoy their youth. And so now it's like, okay, now I have my kids at this age. I mean, but it's to each his own. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean I have two cousins who I kind of grew up with them like siblings. So they both had their children after 35. Like I'm gonna say, one she well they both like 40 now in their 40s, but their first kid came like I wanna say like 37, 38. And one of them I know she done been everywhere, like for her job and just traveling. Her she's been so many different places. And I think sometimes she's like she's happy that she waited because she got to like explore and live life. But then on the other hand, it's like, damn, because how I'm gonna get a babysitter now type shit. But I don't know. I, man, after that article we seen on Facebook, I don't know.
Yeah. Women losing teeth while being pregnant and having all types of weird stuff and memory lapses and all these things while pregnant.
I
I
ain't
think
about
I'm
that
just
life.
I'm just get a dog at this point. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm just gonna be uh uh
And
I
I feel
think
like you supposed to have fun your whole life. So it's like,
I mean, you could, but once you have kids, like things start to slow down. Like I like being able to get up and go. You know what I'm saying? Not having to get cause like with my goddaughter, love my baby to death, but I spent a lot of time with her as a baby, and it was a lot trying to get myself dressed, get a baby dressed, then make sure you got all the diapers and the wipes and the milk. Shout out to the mother, shout out to the single mothers, the co-parents. Shout out to all of y'all that's doing this because right now I just ain't about that life, and I guess and that's because I can't with you, Erna. I'm more refined. But yeah, I mean, when you have your kids, like I guess your idea of fun changes because you do more family involved activities. But you also like your free time, and so but until your child is self sufficient, it's a lot of things that you have to do. You know what I'm saying? Like people can ask me when I'm gonna have kids. And at this point, if it's for me, it'll happen. Like I'm not saying
So,
no.
I mean,
I'm not saying yes. I'm just like if it's for me, it's for me. First, I gotta find a man first. So, well, he gotta find me because I'm gonna look for nothing. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And then when you think about that, of course, you would want somebody that's a great father because anybody can make a baby. You know what I'm saying? We all got the parts for that, but it's just what type of father is this man going to be towards your child? And I really don't want to be in a situation. I don't want to be no baby mama. I don't want to be my kid is spending the week over here with his dad, then they coming over here for the week with their mom. Then we spending 6 months in the summertime because your dad decided he wanted to move to Florida. Like I just
yeah, it's a lot. I think mine wasn't that drastic because we still live within like 45 minutes of each other. But I know people who do live in other states and do that couple 6 weeks here or 12 weeks there, 12 weeks. But that's a lot for a child,
mhm.
let alone for two adults to be trying to work out with their first child. Like, I get it, sometimes things don't work out, don't stay for the kid, but just don't try to move out the state while we co-parenting because they gonna have a new parent.
I
Remember
definitely
we had a new
have
parent.
seen great co-parenting relationships. I have a friend. I tell him all the time. I think you're a full-time dad because even though he's not with his kid's mom, he's with his kids all the time. So I'm like, when do they ever go home? But anyway,
Yeah,
he's a phenomenal dad. Like shout out to him. I ain't gonna put him on blast, but shout out to him. But I do have other friends that they have it where they drop their child off. They got a meeting point because in the middle ground state, and they drop the kid off at the rest stop. They kids swap cars, and then they go on. I guess it's just what it works for them. But I just know for me personally, that's just something that I wouldn't want to see a child go through or have to go because that's a lot of adjusting that I mean, it's probably different when they're babies, but when they get, 7, 8, 9, 10, when they start to ask, well, even 4 and 5, they start asking questions and just like, well, why do I always gotta go to dad's house for this? And you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of
or
stuff
they
that
got
I
friends
want,
here,
right?
friends there.
Like, and I often wonder, like, what goes through the kid's mind? Like, what does the kid think? You know what I'm saying? Just like when you have, like, I have friends, like, they have their child the whole school year, and then the child goes spend the summer with their dad, and then come back down here. But then I wonder, how did that work this year virtually? Like, because the kids was in virtual school, so it was like, did
Yeah,
you
they
yeah, like how, it's just I want to know what the child's perspective is. Like I just want to know what the kid thinks. Like because the y'all adults, they are well adjusted because all right, this is what we do. But like I wonder what the child thinks. Like how does the child feel? Because kids don't always tell you, but you just gotta watch their behavior. But I just wonder like what the kid thinks.
yeah. Man, I had to deal with like two different aspects because like okay, so probably by like middle school, I think my dad lived in Virginia. But summer, so this was part of the thing that was the disconnect between me and him because summertime, when it's my time to be with you, my dad would send me to my grandmother's house, his mother. And his mother lived 7.5, 8 hours away up in the mountains in North Carolina. The granny. I had fun there sometimes, but to be there a whole summer with your grandparents as a teenager, being in high school, that is not the move.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't have to do that. I
It's
spent
not
one
the
week in
move.
North Carolina, hated it.
And but all of my siblings like we're spaced out, especially like my youngest siblings. So we're like uh 5 years. I have a brother that's 5 years younger. Then my sister is 10, and then my baby brother is 12 years younger. So it was pretty much just like I felt a lot like the only child for a while, outside of like my older brothers who I adopted. Um, but while I was having that disconnect with my dad, my older brothers, like I ain't saying they was like the best influences, but they taught me a lot to where I was not just book smart, I was street smart. I knew how to deal with people, how to communicate certain things, and how to really like be able to voice my feelings and stand up for myself. Um, Part of it was being raised one way here and that other way there, where you have family who don't really let you have a voice. Um, so I had to find like a healthy medium because it was either I didn't say nothing or I was just snapping on everybody and everything. And so my brothers really helped me like I want to say find I don't want to say find my voice, but be able to communicate on a better level. And even with like being prepared with just dealing with teenage boys, like first of all, it's dirty. It's nasty. It was nasty. Like, and my brothers were like extremely blunt. Like, they told me stuff that I half the time I didn't even want to hear. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep that in the back of my mind so I know if somebody says such and such to me, this is what I'm gonna do. But I definitely learned a lot from them. And so I always make sure that not only do I acknowledge my dad, I make sure I acknowledge my brothers because they were there the most crucial part of my life. So my brothers always call me their practice daughter. But now I wish he would have been able to be free to come on the show. Because right now he has a 13-year-old daughter. Oh, he has a 13-year-old daughter, and so it's been funny to see him adjusting to this and all the stuff that he's going through now. But some stuff, his daughter is very girly. I was not girly like that as a teenager, so it's completely different. Um, so we didn't go live. Well, I didn't go live for the raffle, but I did post who the winners were. Um, Coincidentally, our last guest, Mr. Cool,
That's so
won
random.
the great that great ass raffle gift. That watch was really nice, guys. If y'all didn't see it, I think I still have some of the pictures up on the podcast page. That was amazing watching. Shout out to my aunt for donating that watch. Um,
Thank you, Auntie.
yeah, I think my dad was like the second person, and he was legit set on this gift card. I don't know what he's gonna use it on. Probably gonna take somebody's mama out to eat with it. I don't know.
Grandma, Auntie.
Yeah. And if any of y'all need a dad, mine sometimes is always available to get borrowed. You can borrow him sometime.
Not get borrowed.
Yeah, you don't understand. But we took my dad out to I don't know if you ever been to Blackwell Hitch.
Yes, yes. I really want to go there for brunch, but I've definitely been there before.
Yeah, so we went to the one on Alexandria waterfront.
Yes, that's the one I went to.
It was really nice. Didn't know that it was going to get that hot. So I was going for the ambiance and the water. It got a little bit hot outside, but it was still, the food was good. That was my first time there. Um, I don't know. I wanted to do something different. Usually I used to be backwards. I used to spend Father's Day with my mom and Mother's Day with my dad. Don't ask me why. I don't know. But um, that we really just wanted to have a show dedicated to the fathers. I know it's a couple new fathers and the followers of the page. I seen y'all babies fresh out, and so I want to wish y'all congratulations. Shout out to all the dope fathers who's always showing up for their children.
Definitely.
I know a lot of solid fathers. Shout out to y'all. I really hope y'all enjoyed y'all day and y'all was celebrated. I know y'all be complaining, saying y'all don't get celebrated like the mamas do. And I was gonna tell y'all to find better people to celebrate y'all, but that's not
That's what it is. Y'all don't have anybody to celebrate y'all because their future, whoever, husband, boyfriend. If you got kids and you a dope, well, you gotta be a dope dad to date me because I don't date deadbeats. I got you. Father say, I was in Macy's like, ooh, these that was some cute outfits. I'm like, dang, I ain't got no little Buddha baffles. So that's a father.
yeah. So I've always, dated people with kids. So I mean, I would say that I would like to find somebody with no kids, but I don't think that's gonna happen at this point.
Yeah, see, it seems like those are unicorns here
Right?
on
Because I
Earth.
done got called a unicorn. Um,
I have to.
Somebody else called me. I can't remember what the word they used, but it wasn't a leprechaun, but it was something like a leprechaun. I was like, bruh, I'm just me. Like, please don't
But
be adding all this stuff.
I just don't have no kids, and I ain't in a rush to procreate. And it ain't no cemeteries over here. Ain't been no what that girl say double homicide. Ain't been none of those over here. I ain't never been to no bullshit clinic or nothing like that. So
Bruh,
okay, I'm just saying.
I ain't even got no comeback. I don't even know what to say.
Bye, Eric, because I cannot.
Mm-mm.
Oh my God.
But
That is still your father. Buy him a gift.
the one thing I will say is, I just wanted to say this to the guys. If you have friends or you hang around people who are not great fathers, I'm gonna look at you sideways too, because at this age you should be holding your friends, the people around you, accountable for their actions and the things that they do. Um, I can't hang around nobody who don't take care of the kid. I don't care if you're the mama or the daddy.
Definitely.
I don't work like that. No, man, I just own somebody who's like family to me because they was not being a stand-up parent. I, I have no clue where they are now. I just know they're still not being a parent, so they don't exist in my world. I just don't understand how people can do that. Um, yeah, so whenever God decides to bless me with the child, I would hope that it works with the father, because I don't want them to experience any of the things that I went through growing up and not being in the same household with my dad. Even though I had great examples and father figures in my life, um, it's still different because they weren't my biological dad. So shout out to them too, because they definitely, instilled some things that I carry on still every day. So sorry this episode was late, guys, but I hope that y'all had a great, great Father's Day.
Yes, definitely. I hope you guys did.
We will be back in the studio on Sunday because this setup was just a lot. God knew what I had to go through to make this happen. We was
Yeah.
in here having technical difficulties the first like 20 minutes. So if you see it on the YouTube, God bless you. Still support us. Don't worry about it. It was just one time thing. But we will be in the studio on Sunday. Um, we're gonna have two guests. I'll be dropping the guest names probably on Friday. So we'll see y'all on Sunday. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Yes, thank y'all for tuning in.
Um, did I do this event? Oh, it's a pop-up shop on Friday. Make sure y'all look um on the podcast page. Pop-up shop Friday. I think it's on Sandbro. Don't quote me because I ain't got it up right now. But go check that post for the pop-up shop Friday. I know it's 7 to 11 on Friday. And affirmations before we close out. Rest of the week.
Um, I know it's the middle of the week, so y'all, we made it across the hump. Okay. All right, but just my affirmation for this week. I only compare myself to myself, which means that you shall only be in competition with you. And I know we have said something similar before, but definitely your greatest competition is who you are looking at in the mirror. Okay, that's who you compare yourself to. You can compare to where you were to where you are now. Okay, you have a lot of people out here who create false narratives of competition, who think that people are in competition with them or trying to compete with them, and that's not the case. It's this song by Queen Naja. um it's called Bitter, and she has this line where she literally says, my biggest competition is the girl in the mirror. And so that's what I'm always comparing myself to, looking at my growth. I tell people all the time, it's nothing wrong with reflecting. Okay, it's nothing wrong with reflecting, because when you reflect, that gives you an opportunity to really see where your growth is. Okay, even if you're not exactly where you want to be, you're not the same person you were yesterday. You're not who I was 24 hours ago. I'm not necessarily that same person that next day. Okay. So always remember, I compare myself to myself. And yes, Polo T, my only goal is to be a better man than I was yesterday. Amen.
Oh, um, for me, um, I just have to say, I'm gonna follow up to what you said. Look, there's only one you. Doesn't matter how many people are selling the same thing as you. Whether it's they selling bundles, T-shirts, whatever they selling, it's only one you. Don't worry about what nobody else doing, what nobody else saying. Your uniqueness and your personality will draw people to you if that's your purpose. If that is your purpose and you are living in your purpose, there's nothing or nobody that can stop you from doing that on the level that you're doing it on. I hope y'all get to the rest of this week, and we will see y'all on Sunday.
All right. See y'all Sunday. Our regular time, y'all, in the studio.